We're live.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to episode 3 of Backroom Banter. As always, I am your host, Nick, alongside my co host, Evan. And Evan, why don't we just go ahead and jump right into last week's NFL games? What kind of jumped off the paper to you? What did you see that you liked and didn't like?
Oh man, well first of all, I'm a Lions fan. Lions looked horrible. We lost. There's a few other things, man. You know, the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, and then Rams scraped by the Seahawks. Sam Darnold looked pretty bad, 4 picks. That was a really rough game for him. But one of the biggest things that's really bothering me being a Lions fan, is how John Morton is not doing a good job. Dan Campbell has lost trust in him, and there's even demotion rumors going around on that side of the coordination. So,
Yeah,
um,
that was really kind of weird. You see Dan Campbell step in, I think it was 2 weeks ago as the play caller. They
mm,
looked really good. They looked flashy. They had a big game coming up against the Eagles. The Eagles have been struggling. Everyone's like, the defense looked good. They held them to 16 points. Anytime you can do that in an NFL game, that's definitely you want to come out of there with the win. But yeah, once again, the Lions offense is back to sputtering. Unless the ball's in Jahmyr Gibbs' hands, it seems like they don't have too much going on if they can't get these underneath routes open. Jameson Williams looks all right, but yeah, man, it was definitely a disappointing week for the Detroit Lions.
yeah, well, especially knowing that like the Eagles have not like scored 20 plus in like maybe what 3 weeks maybe. And AJ Brown's frustrated. He even knows his prime is being wasted. He's winning. Hey, he's winning. You know, maybe bite the bullet on that. Especially with Devontae Smith as well. But their primes are definitely being wasted. Me and you'll talk about it every podcast. Um, they're just not a pocket passing type of team. Uh, but yeah, it was really disappointing, especially knowing that the Eagles have been sputtering. The Lions having probably the best and most explosive offense right now, inconsistent, but really explosive offense going into that game. You'd really think that we'd probably blow them out, but nope. But we did stop the tush push a few times. Hey, I'm happy
They
about
did,
that.
they did. Yeah, that was impressive. You've never really we haven't been able to see a team that can really step in and get that done. Another big thing that jumped out to me in that game was Dan Campbell's fourth down aggressiveness. I mean, I understand he's an aggressive guy and it usually works out well for them, but when they stop it the first one or two times, I mean, you can't just keep going back to it. Sometimes it's not your night. And a lot of times they were going for these fourth downs on their own side of the field or at the the 50-yard line. So, that's not great, especially with how their defense was playing. You'd like to see them play the field position a little bit more and pin that Eagles offense down and make them drive the whole length of the field, which they haven't been able to prove they can do. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dan Campbell's aggressiveness kind of bit him a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole story right now, man. I mean, even 2 years ago when we were in the playoffs, I mean that happened, right? I mean we lost the whole conference game because of it. But I'm all in on it. I love it. I love the confidence. I love the grittiness that brings. But no, I agree with you. This game is definitely a timing game. If you know somebody's gonna do it, you're gonna try to stop it, and if you know they're gonna do it, the odds is you're gonna beat them. So I agree. You gotta change the tempo up on the third downs.
Yeah,
The
definitely,
fourth
definitely.
downs going for it. Um, but moving on from the Lions and the Eagles, Jameer is the best player, by the way. He had like 105 receiving yards.
I definitely think so. He seems to get the ball and just take it to another level. He looks like a man playing against boys out there sometimes.
Yeah, he's really fast and amazing at Alabama. He was amazing at Alabama. Um, but moving on from that, man, the Buccaneers did lose to the Bills. I was rooting for the Buccaneers. It's annoying watching Josh Allen run over everybody, man, but he's still in his prime, still in the MVP form. Even though he did throw 2 picks, he did look a little off, but still had a really explosive offense. But your Sean Tucker looked good. 19 carries, 106 yards. That's a good filler right now for Bucky Irvin.
Yeah, it's obviously a disappointing loss. The offense looks good without all these guys sitting on the bench. I mean, Baker's balling, but he can only do so much. You can't ask him to go out there every single game and win you the game. I mean, you kind of saw late in the game they were in it. They had the ball to go up a possession late, and Baker throws the interception. and then he fumbles on the last drive, down 2 scores. There's not really much you can do at that point in the game. But yeah, I mean, they got to get the defense has to step up. Bill scored 44 points. I understand Josh Allen's the MVP and he's a stud, but I mean, if you want to win these NFL games, you can't be giving up that many points on defense.
No, I agree with you, and it's also really shocking knowing your defensive history. The Buccaneers having a great defensive history. They have a great defense now, and their head coach is just an absolute guru on the defensive side.
Yeah, and the one last thing I'll touch on for the Bucks Bills game was how much time Josh Allen had back there in the pocket. I mean, it seems like some of those plays he was back there all day, and then he's like, "Okay, I'll get out of the pocket and run downfield." But yeah, you can't give a guy like that much time. I understand he's without weapons right now. Keon Coleman sat out that game because of missing meetings. I mean, that's really interesting story. A rookie missing meetings this early is alarming. And then to see him dancing on the field pregame, like it didn't really bother him that much. I mean, I understand you're out there, have fun. There's nothing you can do. They suspended you. He doesn't have to be miserable the whole time he's suspended. I get that, but it's not a good look when you get suspended and then you're out there dancing and lollygagging in pregame warmups.
Yeah, no, and at the end of the day, you're a professional. Professional comes with a name. You got to clock in on time, man. You got to be there when you need to be there. Even the worst players have to do it. Even the best players have to do it. Okay, and I 100% agree with that. And I forgot all about that point. I was reading up on that a little bit, and no, you got to be professional. You got to clock in, man. But
Yeah, and that really kind of hurts me and you a little bit. He transferred from Michigan State to Florida State, so we both kind of have ties there with him. So yeah, it sucks to see a guy that has this much potential seem to just not really be caring about what's going on off the field.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Really disappointing. Yeah, I've read about him dancing and all that, and how really affecting the team morale. Uh, But moving on to the Chiefs and Broncos game, it's same story you were just saying about Baker Mayfield. Actually, the Chiefs did lose to the Broncos. There was no pressure getting a Bo Nix. But Pat, I think there was a stat where this year is the quickest he's had time to throw it. He's like 2 seconds in the pocket is his average right now, and that's horrible. That's really bad. Um, but yeah, that was the story of the night with them. But the Broncos defense is going to carry them to the playoffs, and if not through the playoffs, they look amazing.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. That secondary is elite. Um, the Chiefs they run these RPO bubble screens. They don't really run much downfield. So if they're going to be playing from behind like they were, that's not really a recipe for that. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't seem to be the guy that he was, say, 5 years ago. I mean,
Hmm.
I understand they're without Tyreek Hill anymore. He's gone. Travis Kelsey's at the end of his career. He doesn't really have a true wide receiver one. I know Rasheed Rice steps in and he can look really good at some points, but I don't know if you want him to be the primary guy in your offense to score points.
Yeah, I do gotta be honest. I agree with you there. Travis Kelsey slowing down. You can really see it. Tyquan Thornton has shown signs of being a really good wide receiver. Um, Not a bad year for him. But no, I agree with you. Xavier Worthy hasn't panned out. Rasheed Rice is a little questionable, and he had some issues with the law in his career too. And but Kareem Hunt though, he's kind of taken over that spot for Isaiah Pacheco. Um, he looked all right. He was averaging about 4.5 yards per carry last game.
Yeah, he's definitely been a bell cow in this league for a while now, and he's a guy I think they can depend on late. It's just if they're going to keep playing these one possession games every single week, much like the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, come late in the year, it's going to come back to bite you. And I think the Chiefs are already seeing that. I mean, they got a good shot at not making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Right now, they're in the hunt. Um, and speaking of that, I mean, we can even talk about the statement game they got going up next week. Chiefs versus Colts, man. I mean, this is a statement game for the Chiefs. If they lose, they're pretty much out of the playoffs because right now they're in the hunt, sitting at 5-5. Um, but if Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs beat the Colts here, I really see them making it to the playoffs. Maybe just the wild card. Uh, but a very tough opponent coming up next week in the Colts.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think this is a big game for both teams because if the Colts can come out and beat the Chiefs, I understand, like you just said, they're 5-5 and they haven't been looking the best. But anytime you can beat a team like Kansas City, you're going to take that. And they're going to lean on Jonathan Taylor once again, who was my MVP. I mean, if they're not going to give it to Jonathan Taylor this year, they need to just start calling it the quarterback award because he's clearly carrying that team. They're one of the best teams in the NFL this year, and I think he's very well deserving of that MVP.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That O line, the way they've built that O line, has really made Jonathan Taylor re-spark his career. Um, he's had a little bit of a down year last 2 years, but dude, he's back. He's back to being on top of all of it. And then you have the quarterback Daniel Jones, absolutely having a great year. And not just that, he's also a scrambling quarterback. Like, and
Yeah, he can
mostly,
run.
yeah, he can definitely run. I mean, mostly a pocket presence, but dude, he's not afraid to tuck the ball and get out there. Um, and then he does have a few weapons out there as well. So, really tough game for the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, that's the type of running that I like to see in a quarterback. You have these quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, Lamar. If the pocket's collapsing, that's when I want to see you run. A lot of these guys get a little happy feet in the pocket. If their first read's not there, they just get out of there. But no, Daniel Jones definitely gets through all his progressions, and if he sees nobody downfield, he's going to take off, and he can definitely rip off a 20, 25-yard run, no problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He's had many really good running games. Matter of fact, he's coming off a game from the Falcons. By the way, Colts barely scraped by the Falcons. The Falcons ain't even really that good. But yeah, Daniel Jones just came off a game where he got sacked 7 times, threw a pick, threw a touchdown, and then Jonathan Taylor absolutely having like a 244 rushing yard game. And then Daniel Jones, what we were just talking about, 53 yards. He had 53 rushing yards. And that's 7 carries, by the way. He ran it 7 times and averaged 7.6 yards per carry. So he's
Yeah,
definitely
very
got some
efficient,
wheels on him. He's got some wheels on him, for sure.
definitely.
Um, but no, I definitely think I got the Colts going in and taking that game from them. That O line of the Chiefs, man, very questionable, really scary. Um, the way that these teams this year are getting pressures on Patrick Mahomes is it's really killing that team for sure.
Yeah, no, the only kind of road to victory that I see for the Chiefs is going to be containing Jonathan Taylor early because if he can come out and rip off these 5, 6 yard runs at the tip of a hat, then yeah, the Chiefs are going to be in for a long day. But if they can slow down the Colts a little bit, rely on their defense, hopefully they can score 25 plus. I see this being a very low scoring game. But yeah, with the addition of Sauce Gardner to that Colts secondary, it's going to be a long day for Kansas City if they can't get going early.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, if they didn't pick up Sauce Gardner, you could almost say throwing against that secondary deep ball. I mean, would probably be a really good game plan. But no, adding Sauce Gardner he's had many deflections, not many picks, but had many deflections. He's a really good cornerback this year. Um, he's been targeted a lot too on the Jets. He's been targeted a
Yes.
lot. Um, but then we got Rams. Rams beat the Seahawks. Uh, Sam Darnold looked very rough. Threw 4 picks. Kenneth Walker, not really that. We didn't really run that well. Uh, But a really low scoring game, especially coming from such a high powered offense from the Rams. Matthew Stafford only had 130 yards, but Kyron Williams really picked it up that day, um, especially having many fumbles to start the year off. One was absolutely killed him when he fumbled on the 1 yard line against 49ers. But then you have Puka Nakua, only had two. He had 7 catches, 75 yards. So a lot of worry there. Wondering if they're starting to sputter as well on their offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's sputter as much as just the defense is going to take one of those guys out. I think they're starting to just double cover Nakua a lot of this game. But that's troublesome because if you're going to leave Devontae one on one on an island, you're going to see Matt Stafford keep feeding them. They seem to be getting along real well. Devontae Adams seems to be reinvigorated after his stint bouncing around. But yeah, man, I think this Rams team's pretty scary, and that's a bad thing for my Bucks because we got to go to LA this weekend, and yeah, it's going to be tough because I like the Rams. If they get the right draw, I think the Rams can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there definitely could be a push for it. Um, yeah, and their defense played really well against the Seahawks as well. Like I said, they got 4 picks. And they had a wow, they actually had no pressures. Okay, that's actually worrisome. They actually had no pressures. Uh, but moving on to that, Najigba looked good. Nine catches, 105 yards. But the offense for the Rams looked a little stagnant. Uh, but one of the big topics that we want to talk about was Shadur. Shadur actually had a debut in the last game, and he had a pretty bad game. But in the preseason though, he didn't look too bad in the preseason. He looked really well. So maybe just first game jitters. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, he got thrown in there late in the game and against a divisional opponent. I mean, that's never an easy ask.
Yeah.
He's going to have a whole week to prepare now. He's going to get the reps with the ones, so that excuse is going to be out the window. He's got a good opportunity this week against the Raiders. If he can go out there and look somewhat competent, I think that'll be a big win for them. But if he goes out there and lays an egg like he did in that game last week, he might be getting cut because he doesn't show leadership, and he hasn't really shown much on the field in the regular season yet. But he's going to get his opportunity, and we'll see what he can do with it.
Yeah. The Browns absolutely going through all their depth chart on the quarterback position. He was replacing Dylan Gabriel, and then Joe Flacco got traded. He started off the year really rough. So yeah, this team once again is in a situation where they're not really having a good quarterback or a consistent quarterback. And matter of fact, I think Shadur Sanders is going to be a bridge quarterback for the next guy. Uh, I don't I don't really see him going out doing too well. Hopefully he proves me wrong. Hopefully he has an elite uh, motor in him, but I think he's just a bridge quarterback, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns got to be cursed, right? I mean, they finally got a guy, and I'm thankful for it, obviously. But they had Baker, and they just got rid of him. And as you see, he wasn't the problem. They weren't running his style of offense. They were having him in the eye, handing off 75% of the game. But yeah, the Browns just seem to keep bouncing from quarterback to quarterback. And after drafting 2 quarterbacks last year, it would be pretty wild if they both don't pan out in year one and they have to go grab another.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But just some stats here for you. In the preseason, the beginning of the year, Shadur threw 17 of 29 passes. He threw 17 of 29 passes for 152 yards. Only got 2 touchdowns. He did have 0 interceptions. He was sacked 7 times in the preseason and only had 19 rushing yards. So not really much you can pick from, but from a stint in Colorado, uh, a lot of screen passes behind the yard, behind the line of scrimmage passes, a lot of dump off passes from what I've seen. I just think that offense was catered around him. Um, and I just don't see him being a really good pocket presence. But hopefully he can develop and actually get that going.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is his first time away from his daddy.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a generational talent like Travis Hunter to just throw those balls up to and hope for a prayer. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big, big week for him. I doubt he's getting much sleep with all this preparation, but yeah, man, we'll see.
yeah. Uh, we got a few big games for the next week. We got Rams versus Bucks, Vikings versus Packers. That's a divisional game. Eagles versus Cowboys. That's a rematch. If I if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys won earlier in the year. Did they win earlier in the year?
They did.
Okay, so the Cowboys did win earlier in the year. So the Eagles versus Cowboys is going to be a rematch. It's going to be a really good, gritty game. There's going to be a lot going on with it. And then, like we were just talking about, the Chiefs have a statement game versus the Colts. But do you Nick? You got anything else to add on the NFL side of things? Maybe stuff I didn't hit on.
No, not too much. I do like the Packers in this spot against the Vikings. JJ doesn't really seem to have much going on in Minnesota. I mean, he's got one of the best receivers in the world, but hopefully they can get him involved because if JJ keeps coming out and sputtering like he has been, he had that one really good late game against Chicago, but even in the first half of that game, he didn't look great. So yeah, if they don't come out and muster some offense up, there's going to be a lot of questions being asked because they just had Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, and they moved on from both of them. So they went all in on this guy, and it could backfire on them.
Yeah, it definitely could backfire. But on both sides of it, Jordan Love as well. The last few weeks has been kind of rough. The Packers only put up 7 against the Eagles. Against the Panthers, the Packers against the Panthers, they only put up 13. And finally, they had that good offensive game against the Giants. They put up 27. Uh, but Jordan Love still hasn't really looked that good. The offense still hasn't really looked that good. Uh, and Josh Jacobs has been struggling a little bit. But it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. But I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to have
for
to put
sure.
money on that game for sure.
Yeah, I mean the line's sitting at Packers -6.5 right now. That's a big number for two teams offensively that we just talked about. Don't have much going on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, initially you think Packers, but I think the Vikings can definitely cover a touchdown spread if it's going to be as low scoring as we predict.
Yeah, especially with JJ McCarthy looking really inconsistent. I do think the Packers are going to take it. But we'll just have to see. People are starting to say Justin Jefferson is wasting his career in the Viking side of things, which is kind of sad because I want to see him. I want to see Jay Jettas retire on the Vikings, but it's starting to look kind of bad. I got to be honest. I'd be worried if I was him. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. But moving on from that, you want to go inside the NCAA side of things, the football side of things?
Yeah, that'll pretty much wrap up our NFL segment, and we'll jump right over to NCAA.
All right. Notre Dame. Notre Dame did beat Pitt, so they held the ninth spot in the 12 seeded playoff. So hopefully that they'll stay in that. My bet did hit on it, as we mentioned in the last episode. Uh, but CJ Carr did look bad, but the defense did make up for it. Jeremiah Love had a great game, 23 carries, 147 yards, and like I said, they did hold the ninth seed. Uh,
Yeah, and kind of the big news coming out of college football this week, James Franklin takes the Virginia Tech job. I kind of thought that job was a little bit beneath him, especially with some of the openings right now. I mean, you got 4 job openings in the SEC already. I think there's more to come if Sark leaves, if Lane Kiffin leaves. I mean, yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of big jobs opening. It comes to me a little bit as a shock, but as we've mentioned in the past, the ACC is wide open. So maybe James Franklin's thinking he can step right in and get that program going and compete for a national championship playoff spot pretty early.
yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking, man. I think Virginia Tech is financially prepped to compete in the ACC, and the gap between the top of the league and its second class is so tiny. There's no big team looming, so I think this is a great situation for James Franklin, man.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, Evan. I'd like to get your take on this, but now Penn State only has to pay him $9 million. I mean, not Penn State's getting out big. I understand they probably knew he was going to go take another job, but I don't know about you. I'm not finding a job. I'm going to take these interviews to meet the criteria to get paid out, and I'm keeping that money rolling in for at least a couple of years so I can get the job that I want. But yeah, what is your take on that and him passing up all that money to take that Virginia Tech job? Is that something you would do, or are you riding that out and getting paid?
Oh, I'm riding out, man. I'm definitely riding out. I think if you're a coach, I think there could definitely be a better situation. Um, maybe there's something that he sees that we don't. I don't know. But no, I agree with you. I would definitely take my time and be slow when you have that much money. You can literally just slow down, chill, and literally find the job that you're looking for. But Virginia Tech is definitely a good situation. There could definitely be better ones, but I'm really excited that Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech is going to be financially ready for it, um, and I think they're willing to pay to be one of the top contenders for it. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I would have took time. I would have took time for it with it.
yeah, definitely. But unfortunately for his bank account, I think he's just a football guy. He's a football junkie. He wants to be in the locker room with the guys, preparing for games. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think Virginia Tech definitely got a big steal getting him, and we'll see what that does for their program in the future.
Yeah, especially with having so much history like James Franklin, I could see that. Literally, just wasting time probably kills you. You just sitting on the sideline watching other teams play, especially teams that have reached out to you. It's probably just killing him. And I bet you, when he's on vacation, he's not. I bet you he's studying, prepping for the next game, even if he doesn't have a team. So I think I agree with your point there. It's killing him. I think that's why he was like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, for guys like that, it's tough to take any time off. I mean, the off season kills them so much they don't have games to prepare for. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was reaching out to recruits 2, 3 weeks ago, getting them ready for wherever he was going. Yeah, and another big developing story coming out this week. Sam Levitt, his team comes out and says that he's preparing to go to a different school. They're taking offers. What does this mean for Arizona State? It's not good. Is Kenny Dillingham leaving, or is there just some kind of friction in that locker room? I don't know, because Kenny seems to really be locked into that program and loving that program. But yeah, he's going to be a very highly talented quarterback in this year's transfer portal if he ends up going. I think you could see him land at a big time school like somewhere in the SEC. I mean, he's going to be a hot commodity on the market.
Yeah, for sure, man. Especially, he could command up to like $3 million going into the portal, man. Um, I think. Well, actually, the reports say some of the big locations that could even be considered as Miami and Texas Tech. And especially um, with Carson Beck, the way he's playing, the way he's acting, I think Miami might be a perfect location for him. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I think Miami's a good fit for him. I don't really see him going to Texas Tech just because that's in their conference. I don't see him totally switching up on Arizona State like that and going to a school that they're going to have to compete against. And yeah, Miami's kind of showed the trend over the last few years that they're going to go get a guy in the transfer portal. We saw it with Cam Ward. We saw it with Carson Beck. That's a spot that guys feel like they can go and revigorate their career. So yeah, I think Miami would be a really good spot for him, especially with the weapons that they bring in every offseason.
yeah. Even though they did deny that he was leaving. Um, I think all the signs are pointing at him leaving. But no, I agree. I think
Yeah,
Miami would be a perfect location. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, usually with this stuff where there's smoke, there's fire. Obviously, Sam Levitt can't reach out at this time of the year and be like, "Yeah, I'm interested." But there has been major rumors that his team, his agents, if you want to call them that in college now, because these kids are getting paid, they're shopping them around. They're fielding the deals already. Arizona State has had a less than impressive season so far this year. So yeah, I do believe he's going to be on the move.
Yeah, me too. Some of the season stats that we can even go into for the year. He has 60, pretty much a 61% completion percentage. He's at 1,629 passing yards, uh, 10 touchdowns, three picks, and his QBR is a 129.2. So pretty decorative, especially with the season not being over yet. Um, but some in-conference stats he has 5 touchdowns versus some of the conference teams he's going against. 1,100 passing yards against his conference teams. 62% a completion percentage in his conference, and a QBR of 133 in his conference. So the guy's a baller, man.
Yeah, no, he's a stud. I think we saw last year when they had Cam Scatterbo. He really kind of leaned on him a lot. Those checkdowns out of the backfield. They came into this season hoping they can carry over some of that mojo, but I just don't think they have the talent and the weapons to be able to beat these top teams. And he knows that if he wants to win, if he wants to be a Heisman candidate, he seems to be a high swagger guy, high confidence guy. So yeah, I think he would fit right in at one of these blue blood programs, and I think we'll see him end up there.
Texas A&M defeated South Carolina. That was a really good game, by the way. Casey Conception had a big game. He had 7 receptions, 158 yards, including Ashton Bethel Roman, who had 4 receptions, 139 yards. Uh, then Ole Miss beat the Gators. Hey, that's good for you. Ole Miss did beat the Gators. Keywan Lacey, 31 carries for 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. Um, Georgia Tech scrapes by Boston. It was an absolute quarterback battle. It was Haynes King um, with 371 yards, 1 touchdown. Then Dylan, how you say his last name? Lanergan? Yeah, 362 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great running back battle and wide receiver battle on that game. One of the bigger topics that happened during the Texas A&M and the South Carolina game, the state trooper, he shoved the South Carolina wide receiver Nick Harbor in the game. Gamecocks lost to A&M, and then screamed. He also screamed. If you've seen the video of it, it looked really bad. It looked like he almost did it for no reason. Um, but
Yeah, at first you kind of see him doing this celebration after the touchdown where he's grabbing his hamstring, running up the tunnel. We've seen this celebration multiple times where guys will fake an injury, but yeah, he's coming out of the tunnel with his teammates. The sheriff just stands there and shoulder checks 2 players, and then as soon as it happens, he snaps on them as if they intentionally bumped into him. It was a completely disgusting act. Texas A&M has suspended him from any games going forward, so we won't have to worry about him keeping this up. But yeah, for a while in the first half of that game, it looked like that sheriff was playing the most physical ball on the field because that Texas A&M comes out in complete blunder. They're down 31-3 at halftime. They can seem to be getting nothing done on offense. And then they come out and have the most impressive half of football that we've probably seen this year. They storm back. So whatever that sheriff put into the Gamecocks' head, it worked.
yeah, to add on to your topic, man, the Texas State Trooper was actually sent home, and I think he got fired. Um, and it was absolutely disgusting. Texas A&M did announce they were aware of the incident in the tunnel involving the trooper, and he has been relieved of his game day assignment. So he was sent home. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Just be nice. Just be a nice person, man. They look so bad. It looked like he was targeting him. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, their
Grow up.
kids playing.
Yeah, this kid's playing a game, dude. And did he actually get hurt, the player?
He did get hurt, not on the shoulder check, but on the play. He did seem to be hobbling out of the tunnel, which is not part of the celebration. So yeah, which makes it even more of a vulgar act to shoulder check a guy that you see is clearly limping and injured. Yeah, I hope we never see him or anybody like him on the sidelines of a game again.
Yeah, I agree with you. Small stuff like that should definitely be taken care of. Whether it's like you're heckling a player, whether you're heckling a fan, it, there should be no room for it, and there should be no tolerance of it. Just get him out of here, ban him for for the rest of the season. Get a new cop in there. Like that's so bad. It's it's really we don't need that at all.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he's always on game day assignments or if they were short staffed that day and they just grabbed a guy off the streets that's usually dealing with real criminals. But yeah, disgusting, and I hope we don't see it going forward. Alrighty, Evan, do you have anything else you want to touch on last week's games, or you want to go ahead and jump into the slate coming up this Saturday?
I want to talk about the Missouri game with Oklahoma. Matt Zollers against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, man. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He only threw the ball 15 times for 112 yards. Not much there, but the rushing attack from the Missouri Tigers is something to be afraid of. Amon Hardy, 25 carries, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Man, that's scary going into this Oklahoma game. Oklahoma got to be on watch against this Missouri team, man. Uh, then with the Oklahoma side of things, they just came out of the Alabama game where Oklahoma Sooners proved a point against Alabama. John Mateer, not much there on the passing against Alabama. Not much of a rushing game. Um, so I think Missouri Tigers has all the confidence, all the drive going into this. I think Missouri Tigers are absolutely going to take it from these guys.
Yeah, I think this is a really good spot for the Tigers. They had a great start to the year. Once they got into SEC play, they seemed to kind of fade it off a little bit. They got a big win against the chippy Mississippi State team that can come out any week and beat you. But yeah, they're going on the road to Norman, Oklahoma. But Oklahoma, as you mentioned, is coming off that win against Alabama. Is this a hangover spot? If they come into this game lackluster, they got two big wins in back-to-back weeks against Tennessee and Alabama. They can if they catch them slipping, I think Missouri can make a statement here.
Yeah, I agree with you. One worry I would have is against Texas A&M. Missouri only did put up 17 points, but other than that, uh, I mean they beat Auburn. They had a really good game against Auburn. They did lose to Vandy. Vandy absolutely actually dismantled them. There was no offense coming from Missouri there, but a lot of confidence coming out of this MS game. All right, well, Nick, how about the USC Oregon game?
Yeah, it's a really interesting game. College game day is going to be there. USC's kind of had an interesting year. They started out pretty good playing lesser competition. They've kind of struggled since they've gotten into Big Ten play. But Oregon, I mean, this was a team that we didn't really know what you were going to get. They seem to have national championship aspirations starting the first year quarterback. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting game because Oregon's going to be able to score with USC. And if we know anything about Lincoln Riley, he's not known for having good defenses. So if they think they're going to go out there and win with a shootout against Oregon, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, man. I think Oregon's offense is crazy. When they get it when they win against the Rutgers, man, they put up 56. When they win against Minnesota, they put up 42. Um, Iowa, I actually talked about Iowa a few weeks ago. How Iowa could almost beat Oregon. They almost did beat Oregon. So to see Oregon come on top is also still really impressive, even though Iowa's not ranked. Um, but I do think Oregon is going to take it from them. I don't believe USC is going to make the playoffs. They're not going to. Um, but yeah, they lost to Notre Dame when they were ninth seeded. They lost 24-34. They barely beat Nebraska. They scraped by Nebraska. They did dismantle Northwestern, the Wildcats there. Then USC went against Iowa and almost lost to Iowa. USC almost lost to Iowa. So I mean, I gotta be honest. I think the Oregon's gonna take this away. Um, the stats against Iowa with USC, Jade Maiva, 254 yards, one touchdown, pretty impressive stat line. He completed more than half his passes. Um, then Makai Lemon, 153 reception yards, 10 catches, one touchdown. I think Oregon is still going to take this though.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hype around this game because there's not much else going on this weekend. Everyone's getting prepared for the rivalry games coming up. And yeah, I think this could be a spot where Oregon comes out and steamrolls them.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're going to have to probably witness next Saturday. Is that happening? Um, what were some other
Yeah, BYU
games?
is a little bit interesting. BYU still right there in the playoff race. They have a good chance to win it. They have a good chance to make it if they win out. Cincinnati's a frisky team though. Cincinnati's really been playing well. They're going on the road to play them in Ohio. So I think BYU could be on a little bit of upset alert, but if they go in there and play the way they've been playing, I do think they'll be able to get it done this weekend. Alrighty, man. Yeah, I think those are definitely some great points that we hit on for college football. If you don't have anything else, like we said, there's really not much going on this weekend. Next weekend's going to be big with all the rivalries. But yeah, with that being said, we'll wrap up college football and we'll jump right into the NBA. Evan, take us off.
With the NBA side of things, LeBron James did make his debut with the Lakers. He did crack the sixth spot in three pointers made list, which is really good. Another thing to solidify him in the GOAT debate. Okay. Luka had 37 points and 10 assists. LeBron had 11 points and 12 assists, and Austin Reeves had 26 points and like one assist. One of the biggest takeaways from that game is Bronny was lacking the confidence of shooting the ball. You can, if you get on social media, you'll see the video of JJ, their head coach, screaming at Bronny, telling him to shoot the ball, saying you have to shoot the blank ball. Um, so hopefully that's something that he gains because we want to see him succeed and become maybe the baby LeBron. Um, Other than the LeBron debut, Giannis, he hurt his groin. He's going to be out, I think Doc Rivers said, about 2 weeks. Detroit Pistons, they're on 11 game. So when the Bulls beat them last, they actually took that spark and they went on 11 game. Uh, the Bulls offense did look unstoppable with Kobe White in his debut of the season against the Utah Jazz, but we did lose. Very high scoring game, by the way. Kind of questionable that we lost to the Utah Jazz because it's Utah Jazz. They haven't been good in a while. Um, our defense is lacking. Nikola Vucevic is not that big of a presence, but he's still a good center. But he's lacking a little bit. Uh, but the Bulls did beat the Nuggets. One of the biggest reasons why we're so successful right now, kind of on a losing streak. Well, we're not on a losing streak anymore, but we did lose a lot. The Bulls are just we have some of the most assists in games. We're leading the league in assists every game. We absolutely had a margin on the Nuggets in assists. We out assisted them by 10 assists. Um, but other than that, Paul George did have his debut. Man, everybody's heard. It seems like he looked rusty in debut. He only got 7 points. He shot like 2 for 7. Hopefully he'll get back in the flow of things because I really like to see Paul George get back in his old form because we all love Paul George. Stephon Castle, flexor strain, is gonna be out 2 to 3 weeks, and on top of that, Victor Wembanyama's out as well. I know he got hurt. Uh, Here's a crazy thing that happened. Cavs were fined for resting their star players. They were fined like $100,000. Uh, Donovan Mitchell. They rested Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley even though they were not injured and they could have played. They were fined $100,000. And in 2023, the league actually put in a rule saying you can't do that. So that's why they got fined. They violated a TOS with them. Um, which is sickening because you just don't want to see it. We've had that a lot. We've seen Kawhi sit out a bunch. We've just seen people abuse this sitting out to get draft picks and stuff because they're not good, and you just hate to see it.
Yeah, it's real good to see the NBA stepping in and enforcing these rules. As we talked about last week, it's not cool for the entertainment side. It's not cool for the fans buying tickets to go watch the game. But one really big story that I want to touch on that I saw break today, Anthony Davis requests a trade out of Dallas.
What? Oh, that's crazy, dude. Come on, Bulls, get
Yeah,
you a snag.
very interesting. There's going to be a lot of teams in the market for AD. I understand he doesn't have a great track record when it comes to being on the court, but when he is on the court and when you can get him healthy and rolling, he is a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if one of these teams on the fringe goes out and makes a move for him, or if one of these contenders does. Because if you fit him on a team, and I hate to say it, but like the Lakers that are needing a big man, I mean that's a real interesting scenario that a team could be put in.
Hey man, that's a great point. The Lakers ever since, well, even when AD was there, we're lacking a big man presence. Anthony Davis did state he did not want to play center. He hated playing center. Um, but that's actually crazy to think about that the Lakers need a center, and if AD came back to the Lakers, they would almost complete that team, which is that is crazy. And
Wouldn't rule it out.
yeah, for real. But yeah, when Anthony Davis is fully healthy, man, he's a top five player in this league. Very horrible track record with injuries. Injuries have derailed him, especially after winning that championship in 2020. Ever since then, he's been hurt a lot. Um, but yeah, I gotta be honest, top five player, and I would love to have him on the Bulls because the Bulls need that veteran player in the locker room because we're really young, and as you can see, we're not finishing the games we should see. But I think I'd love the Bulls to get him. I'd love the Lakers to get him. Um, and dude, I'd like he'd be a good fit in GSW as well. Um,
Yeah, a real interesting spot with a team that has kind of been relevant within the last couple years. They're in first place right now in the East is the Detroit Pistons. I mean, could you imagine him on that roster with those young guys come in and being the veteran presence? That would be a scary, scary combination if he ends up in Detroit.
yeah, it would. I think Cade Cunningham and Anthony Davis, them two being the superstars of that team, if they did join, that'd be a nasty pick and roll, pick and pop scenario. Um, especially with man, the Pistons are so good defensively. I think that would be an amazing fit for them as well. Um, they would really complement each other, and the team would complement Anthony Davis and as they already do Cade Cunningham. Um, but a few interesting points with the rookie ladder. Concanupple from Charlotte is number one on the rookie ladder. He's averaging 17.6, 2.7 assists. Um, and I'm kind of surprised to see that because DJ Edgecombe is still, he's in the league. He's a rookie as well. DJ Edgecombe came out starting the season off super hot, scoring like I think 41 or 37 like that. He started the season off, so he slowed down a little bit. But I'd love to see Concanupple absolutely thrive uh, being in the NBA. Really excited about him,
Yeah,
watching him play.
yeah, and the real interesting thing is his running mate at Duke, Cooper Flag. Everyone had him early season favorite to win Rookie of the Year, and he started out slow. So it's kind of interesting to see his partner in crime at Duke come in and be balling the way that he is. He's obviously getting a lot of the shots in Charlotte. They don't have many other people to shoot once you get past LaMelo. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be really cool to see a guy like that step in and show himself in the NBA.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Concanupul is like he's really confident, man. If we watch any Charlotte games, he's really telling everybody he's not afraid. He's ready to go out there and he's gonna get his buckets no matter what. And I think that if he keeps this going, he doesn't get hurt. By the end of the season, I would love to see him averaging 20. And if he averages a season with 20, I think he's gonna go in the next season even increasing that. I could see him being almost a superstar, if not a star, in this league for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He's in a great situation where he can play a lot and get a lot of touches in Charlotte.
Moving on from the NBA side of things, Nick. How about the Paul Skeens stuff, huh?
Yeah, that was kind of a big story when it came out. I haven't seen too many people talking about it, but Paul Skeens' teammate comes out and say that Paul Skeens has talked about many times being interested in the New York Yankees. I mean, I understand he's in a situation right now where he's not going to win a lot. I mean, I think he had an ERA sub 2 this year, and he lost over half of his games, which isn't very impressive. But if there's ever a way to make your own fan base turn on you, it's like that. It's doing things like that. You can't be coming out and talking to teammates, hoping they keep it under wraps that you want to go play for an organization that's as hated as the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Paul Skeens on the Yankees, but he did come out and say that that wasn't true, and he said that left a bad taste in his mouth over the whole report that came out. But especially with him winning the National Cy Young Award unanimously, which is pretty crazy. Um, but yeah, uh,
Yeah, and when a story comes out like this and it's not on record, it's not on recording or anything like that, obviously he's going to come out and deny it. But I don't really see a reason why a teammate would just come out and make up lies like that about him. But yeah, he wins his second in a row NL Cy Young, 2 years in the league, two Cy Youngs down. He's obviously one of the best generational talents we've had in a long time. I mean, his off speed pitches are like 92 miles an hour, which is absolutely insane. He's got a whole arsenal of pitches to work on. Obviously, we know he's not going to stay in Pittsburgh his whole career, so it'll be interesting to see if they do move on from him with these comments coming out and being public, considering they can get a boatload of picks and players for a guy like Paul Skeens.
yeah. I mean, even Skeens, he admitted to himself that it's a huge adjustment about how much he's been losing. Matter of fact, he said it's tough to not show up on the field every day and be bitter sometimes, especially when we're on a 7, 8 game skid. Uh, he said, I think it just comes down to being a professional. I've learned more and more how to do that and just be the same person every day. So clearly he's frustrated, and I could see those rumors being true and him actually wanting to get out there. And of course, it's the Yankees that he wants to go to. But
Yeah, you hate to see that. I mean, unless you're a Yankees fan, you don't root for the Yankees. Um, but if there was ever a team that's going to throw a boatload of money and a boatload of draft capital at a guy, it is the Yankees. They're all about big splashes and making names. He would obviously fit amazing next to Garrett Cole. Um, but yeah. I mean, who knows? We'll see what comes this offseason. But I think he's going to be in for a bit of a heckling come spring training.
yeah, I agree with you. The only other thing that I really have written down for this is the trade that happened. The Orioles recently traded pitcher Grayson Rodriguez to the Los Angeles in exchange for outfielder Taylor Ward. This was a one-for-one trade. It was announced yesterday. Um, the Orioles acquired a power-hitting outfielder, while the Angels obtained a former top pitching prospect who has been sidelined by an injury. But they're saying that he's going to make a full recovery.
Yeah, the Orioles kind of had an interesting season last year. They got all this young talent. A couple years ago, they were looking like they were going to be World Series contenders for years to come. But yeah, I think that shows the Orioles are trying to kind of shake some of those webs off and see what they can do coming into this year. It's going to be a big year for them. And I think if they get out of the gate slow, you could definitely see them moving on from some of these young guys just to try to rebuild.
Yeah, I could see that too happening, man. Yeah, I hope he really does recover from his injury. He obviously will be a starter. The thing that we wanted to bring up in the MLB side of things is the automatic strikes. It's going to be starting in the 2026 side of things on the Major League Baseball. A new automated ball strike system that uses technology to make official calls on balls and strikes, but this is distinct from a traditional automatic strike system. One more thing we want to hit on the MLB side of things: the automatic strike zone. It's starting in the 2026 season. It'll be a new system that uses technology to make official calls on balls and strikes, but this is distinct from a traditional automatic strike system. I think it's going to be amazing that we have it. I mean, because it's going to make calls more hard and won't be questionable.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn, like right down the middle with this. Being a pitcher myself, there's a lot of gamesmanship you can play with the umpires. Some guys call outside, some guys call inside, up, down. Guys definitely have their tendencies, and if you can figure out an umpire's tendency early in the game, you can definitely exploit it. Um, it's going to take away the framing aspect for catchers. There's going to be no tricking the computer. That's going to be a big adjustment for catchers because that's a big tool to have in your tool bag as a catcher. But like you mentioned, hitting's hard enough as it is. If you get a hit every third time you're at bat, you're a Hall of Famer. So it's one of the hardest things to do in professional sports, I believe. So I know the hitters are going to be very excited to have a much more of a consistent strike zone. But it's going to be very interesting to see how it played out. I was against the pitch clock at first. I think everybody was, but once you saw that get implemented, everyone loved it. It sped the games up big time. There's much less walking around the mound and in between pitches. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But it's definitely going to be an interesting adjustment for the pitchers and catchers that kind of cheat the zone a little bit and like to exploit those weaknesses that the umpires have.
Other than that, with the automated strike zone system, we'll wrap up the MLB side of things. We'll get into the best bets. Nick, any crazy bets you got wrote down?
Yeah, as always, if you watched this far in the video, we appreciate you. If you would leave us a like, comment, subscribe, we'd love that. We appreciate everyone that's been following along for our first couple of episodes, and thank you very much. With that being said, I do have a nice little parlay right this weekend for college football. I like Tennessee, BYU, and Texas money line altogether. I think that'll be a good spot. I tend to stay away from parlays just because the odds of hitting them are so rare. But I do like those three teams, a little sprinkle on them to win out money line for college football. And then over on the NFL side, the Browns are going into this Vegas game favored by 3.5 points. And as we touched on earlier, we don't know what we're going to get out of Shadur. You don't know what you're going to get out of the Browns. Vegas has sputtered all year. They didn't look good last week. But I do like the Raiders in this spot, getting 3.5 at home against the Browns. It's going to be a low scoring game. So give me the points and with the home team. And yeah, Evan, what are you seeing that you like?
Yeah, I got Dallas versus Pelicans. Dallas favored by 2.5. Dallas had a really good game against Portland. I think they're going to go into this next game uh, doing pretty well. The Pelicans have been low off. They've been devastated by a few injuries. So that's my bet.
We hope everybody has a great and profitable weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.